Hello and welcome to another edition of Lay the Draw, or what it's turned into is my tests and trials and tribulations of BF Bot Manager for Betfair. I've got a screen up here. I'm going to try not to change too often. First off, I want to make an apology. There was a few videos back where I had a comment saying that they couldn't see the software I was using. What had happened, I'd flicked screens from Microsoft Excel into BF Bot Manager, and honestly I was obviously using BF Bot Manager, but I hadn't realised I was still just showing the Microsoft Excel screen on the video for some reason. I might have to find some decent recording video. If anybody's got any suggestions, then drop them in the comments. All I'm using is that inbuilt Windows 10 thing. I'm not a great fan of Windows in the first place, but it's just put me off even more. You press the Windows key and G. I think it's to record yourself gaming, maybe for something like Twitch or something like that. I'm not sure, but it's more of a games thing than anything else. I've had a couple of problems with it in the past, where if you flick to certain screens, it actually comes out of it, so you could be recording for like 10, 15, 20 minutes and then flick onto a different screen and it just ends. So we'll try and see what's available for Windows. Like I say, I don't really want to use Windows, but obviously this BF Bot Manager, I don't want to use Windows, but now I'm actually using two Windows machines because as you can see, this is the simulation machine I'm using. So I'm going to run you through that today, see where I'm at. And I've also got another Windows, an older Windows laptop next to me running in live mode. It seems to be doing okay. I had a mare yesterday, most of yesterday actually, because it's just like a notebook thing, and it's an HP, so it's not a really bad make, but honestly the Windows network, I've only got, as I'm in a sort of temporary place at the moment renovating, I've only got mobile phones to use as hotspots. And when I was linking this little laptop to mobile phones, I've got 3 mobile phones, all of them have got like data packages on them, and when I was trying to link it, it was just failing after a couple of minutes being linked to anything. So I tried reinstalling all the the Windows sort of network adapters, drivers, protocols, all that gubbins. Nothing worked, so eventually I just reset the thing. I reset it fully and then installed BF Bot Manager again. I was missing trades and stuff while I was doing that, because like I say, it took a few hours yesterday. However, touch wood, it seems to have behaved itself overnight and it's still going. I'm not going to show you the live trades at the minute. I mean, I'm still on minus £28. I'm looking at it now. Out of the last 5 trades, I'm doing this one live here. This FLTD01 is the one I'm running live on the machine next to this one. And the last 5 trades since 9:30 last night, there's only been 5 trades. Sorry, 6. I won the first 5, so it was £2 on each one. Then I lost the last one, so I lost £9.80 on the last one. So out of those 6 trades, were 20 pence up. It's just put another trade on today, which I'll show you in a sec, because it's done it on the simulator as well. But I just wanted to show you, run through these 3 here that I'm doing at the moment. So 01 here is what I'm running live, and that is we're entering 5 minutes before the game starts, and we've got no exit strategy. We're looking at any of the favourites, so home or away favourites being between 1.01 and 1.99, and then a couple of other little things that you use within the software, which I'll go through in more detail in a later video. Don't want to get into all the sort of intricacies of it all. In fact, what I'll probably do is end up, because you can export these strategies, or whatever they're called. I think they're called strategies. Yeah, they're called strategies, or bots. Because you can click on here and you can you click, is it this one you click on? Oh, that's the one I'm on, sorry. If you click on strategies, yeah, that's it. You get the toolbar up, you can export them. So what I'll probably do is I'll export them and stick them on a page, or in the link in these videos at some point, once I've sort of bottom them out. I don't want to sort of give them anybody until I'm happy with them myself, because you can see a couple of them are still losing. This one is the one I'll come on to as well, which is actually been making money since yesterday. These are just since yesterday as well. On the simulator, I've got obviously more information on the live because it's been running a bit longer. It's took a little while to get both machines up and running. So yeah, this first one, it's just looking at either the home or away team being between 1.01 or 1.99, i.e. we've got a clear favourite in the game, whether it's a home team or away team. We're not too fussed for that strategy. Strategy 2, which you can see is lost, well, sorry, it's won 8 out of 11. Strategy 1's won 7 out of 9 trades. Strategy 2 is where the home team is between 1.01 and 1.99. I do need to check because I'm not sure what I've done with the draw. I'll go and check that now actually. So if you look at the market, you can see all the trades there we've done under this strategy. They're all listed there where they've all settled. Obviously we've got no exit strategy, so all these bets are lay bets, and they either win or they lose. You win £2 or you lose your liability, as you can see there. This bottom one is just matched in the last sort of, what time is it now? It is 10 past 1. This last one is matched at 5 to 1. I think the game kicked off at 1 o'clock there. You can see that there. Hopefully you can follow the mouse around. So that one's in play at the moment. So what you can do for this then is if you click on market conditions, I can see we're putting the bet on 5 minutes before the start of the game, and we're looking for the favourite being 1.01, 1.99, and then the selection conditions we've got. So on the selection conditions for number 1, strategy 1, we've got that the lay in the draw must be between 3 and 6. So that's where we're kind of restricting our liability by not going on anything over 6, because remember the liability would be way over a tenner. I think that means our worst case scenario for liability would be 6, 12, 10 quid minus your £2 stake, so it would be 10 quid is the highest we could lose. If I look at strategy 2, again here's all this sort of trades we've put on strategy 2, and all the winning and losing. I think I was doing just the home team at the start here. I can't remember. I haven't really looked into why it's doing so much worse than strategy 1, although I think we had a couple of draws yesterday that the home team were like odds on favourites to win the game, and I think because we're lower on the lay side on the draw, which is what I was just going to look at here. Alright, okay, so I've taken it out on the strategy 2, the draw. So I've just got that open-ended for the lay odds on the draw. I think the reason I've done that is because you're restricting the lay up to 6 odds, it means you're not putting trades on like clear favourites, like odds on favourites, like ridiculous favourites. So I've took it out here just to trial it, and it doesn't seem to be going that well at the moment looking at that. And again, this is just simulation, so we're not spending any money here, so it's a really good it's a good setup to get into, because you can have as many of these running as you want, and if any are profitable over a long period of time, you can just export them and then import them into your real mode laptop. The only thing I don't like about it is having to run 2 laptops with Windows on. I think it would be a lot better if you could just, even if you had like a live and a simulation version of the software on the same laptop, or ideally even better would be just, instead of start and pause up and down here, have a toggle switch that allows you to put them into simulation or real mode. I think it's these totals that would then become a bit squiffy. I don't know how they would work that, which is they'll have their reasons for not doing it, because obviously if one's in simulation mode, all it needs to do is do exactly what it's doing at the minute, but then just not place a bet. Don't place any trades if it's in simulation mode, but it's obviously not as simple as that. So it is what it is. We've got two laptops set up, one just running real mode. The only other issue I have to say with it is this laptop here we're looking at now is, in the past when it's fell asleep in simulation mode, and I will be testing this again in future, but in the past when it's fallen asleep after whatever minutes, I've noticed when the screen goes off, even if the machine's still awake and it hasn't gone to sleep, but even if I've turned the screen off, it didn't seem to be placing the trades, which isn't acceptable really. Even in simulation mode you want it to be placing the trades, otherwise you're not going to know what's happening where you're at. So both of these laptops I'm sitting looking at now, I've got to have the screens on 24/7 at the moment until I get into that in more detail. That's one thing I will be looking at on the simulation one. I mean, I've had to keep them both plugged into the mains, and I've had to keep them both with the screens on for the moment. I will look into that in more detail at some point when I get a bit of time, and I'll report back to you. But at the moment, I am just keeping them on constantly. So these are the three. Oh, sorry, I haven't gone through the third one. So the third one is more or less just. I don't know why there's no bets in there, because it has done some bets. That might be because I stopped it and restarted it. It's basically, anyway, it's just a copy of the lay the draw one, the example one, and it's doing the best at the moment, which is quite ironic, because I should have just went with this one from the start. I don't even know if I've tweaked it at all, but what I will do, I've only had winning trades on it because it's not putting as many trades on. You can see there's only been the way this works, because you're laying and backing, you need to be looking at these numbers here. So it's won 4 out of 4 trades, so it's only done 4 trades and won £6, which is pretty good. So it's won 100. It's got 100% strike rate there. So I might actually, if this lasts for another couple of days like this, I'll probably put this one into live and let it run, see if we can make any money off that one. It does warn you that these examples aren't for using in a live environment, but you know, if it's making money consistently, then why not do it, and then just tweak it after that, or tweak it while you're simulating it in test mode. But anyway, this 4/8 that's because on this strategy there's an exit strategy, or an exit point. If you make so much money or you lose so much money, it'll exit out, and that means you only ever win half. You can only ever, that can only be 50%, so you've won 4 out of 8, because your back bets after your lay bets will always be losing bets, but it'll be at a lower rate than your lay bets, so you will actually make profit. So the strike rate can only ever be 50%, whereas the market strike rate can reach 100, obviously. So we've got 4 out of 4, which is what you need to be looking at when you're putting, when you're cashing out, basically, in sort of Betfair terms. Cashing out, you're just putting an opposing trade on to get your money back out, to get your profit out. I hope that makes sense. So I'll just quickly go through the market conditions here. So we're following football. We're only doing high profile games where there's £30,000 traded. Don't know why that's a euro sign. Why is it a pound sign? I can't even see, that's too small. I hope you guys at home can see it, but I'm just about to see that myself. Yeah, so that 30,000 there means it'll only go on high profile games where there's been a lot of money already matched on the market. I'm doing it 15 minutes before, purely because I'm doing number 2 10 minutes before, and I'm doing number 1 5 minutes before, just in case there was any conflict there. I don't suppose there would be, because I just think it starts trying to place trades as you approach the 15-minute mark. I think even on when I set it to 5 minutes, I've seen one go in 6 minutes before. Selection criteria then, so I've got back and lay price for runner by position 3 must be within 3 and 6, so that is the lay the draw price. Remember, the runner position 3 is the draw, 2 is the away team, and 1's the home team. So we're saying there the lay price, the back and lay price, sorry. So the back and lay price must be between the range of 3 and 6. So if like the back price was 5.8, 5.9, and the lay price was 6.1, 6.2, then it wouldn't place that trade. The back and the lay ratio price must be like within 15% tolerance of each other. That means it's just a closer gap. Obviously, the wider it is, then the more volatile the market is at that point there on that market. And then the bet type by position there is runner position 3, and we put a lay on that, and we only allow one bet for this actual runner position, so that's just saying we put our lay bet on the draw. So moving on to the staking, we're putting £5 on this one. We're not really, because it's simulation mode, but it gives so that actually these aren't representative in that case, because these are only £2 bets, whereas these are 5. The reason I'm leaving that 5 for the moment is because obviously we've got exit points where if we lose a percentage of this, then we come out, and if we gain a percentage of this, we come out of the market. So we're never risking the whole £5, if you like. Saying that, I haven't actually calculated how much we will lose, and because we've only got 4 trades and we've won them all, I haven't actually seen a losing trade on this strategy, so I'm waiting to see that before I make a decision on whether these numbers need tweaked. And when I say these numbers, I mean this one here. So if I go into here, he has all the blurb for this, but it's probably easier just to go in and go through it in a little more detail. So basically, we only this is for hedging. So this is for our exit strategy. So it's called, some people call hedging, green up, cash out. It's basically putting an opposing bet in, and I'll show you one of the winning trades in a second before we finish off. But yeah, I was saying ask for a worse price up to 2 ticks away from that means if there's not enough money to match what you're going in at, then it'll move 2 ticks one way or the other, depending on whether you're laying or backing, to actually match the bet, so you get your money out. And it'll show you the average on the screens if it doesn't get it all at the one price. I mean, probably 8 or 9 times out of 10 you'll get it all at one price. Depends how much money's in that actual market for that price at the time when you're trying to get out. I suppose it'll be free for all if everybody's trying to get out using this strategy at the same time, which is probably why it's worth tweaking some of these numbers. I can't even remember if I've tweaked some of these. I think I might have done. But you can see here what's ticked down this side. So we're saying it's only active during in play, so what that does, I presume, is stops it from, so we put this trade on like say 15, 10 minutes, 5 minutes before the game. The prices can actually move before the start of the game, and you wouldn't want to, basically we're saying, yeah, we don't really want to execute that while the game is not in play. I don't know if that includes half time or not. I will be looking at the instruction, the user manual in more detail at some point, but I haven't yet. But these are the important 2 over here. You can see all these options down here, and you can select whatever you want down here. So what we've got selected is hedge if the price goes below a certain price. So what I've said there, if the draw goes below 1.5, then we want to cash out, and that's where we would lose money. And that's how I don't know how much money I might want to change that up to upwards towards 1.75. If I'm losing too much at 1.5, I might want to change it downwards to like 1.2 if I can risk losing more. Again, I also want to see what time this is coming out of the market, like at what minute is that going to be, like the 50th minute, 60th, 70th, 80th. I think that's probably going to be closer to the 80th than anything, somewhere between 70 and 80. But then it's also going to depend on like not only, well, firstly the score of the game. If it's 3-0 to the favourite, then that 1.5 will be reached a lot earlier than in the game than like if it's only 1-0 to the favourite, for example, or even 1-0 if it's 1-0 to the underdog, and it might not even reach 1.5 until practically the end of the game. That's what I want to look at and understand. I'm going to pull some stats together on that kind of thing there. Or you can like go for You can hedge after the start time. That was where you could set your 70 minutes and just get out as long as the score's at 0-0. You can do that on other screens for sports specific. I'll go into them in a sec quickly. I'm not using them at the moment because didn't seem to be working that well. And then on the other side of the coin, you can see there you can hedge if the price goes above a certain price as well. You can hedge if the price goes up by a percentage, which is what we've selected here, and we're taking 25%. So if the price goes up by 25%, we're coming out for a gain, and I'm going to show you how that's reflected in the numbers. And then use the above price conditions only if the initial bet is matched. So that's just ticked by default. I'm assuming that's a given really. Why you would only ever use these if the initial bet was matched. Again, that's another one for the user manual I need to look at. You've then got profit and loss calculations that just defaults to this one from the initial bet, which is your percentage of profit and losses calculated from your initial bet that was placed with this strategy. I haven't even read the rest, I'm just leaving it at that for now. It seems to work the profit out how I'd expect it to be worked out on that setting. I'll just concentrate on this one, but this is a sports specific, and I'll just concentrate on the football one. So here you would say if you wanted to come out when the home or the away team scored when the goal went in, to make sure you didn't lose all of your liability, i.e. as soon as the game become not a draw, for want of a better term, you would just click these, you would click on that, and then you would click on these two. And because you can click on this as well to wait 120 seconds or whatever you want really. This is a good option for like VAR now, because even on Betfair I've seen goals being reported that are then subsequently cancelled out because of like VAR decisions and things like that. But 120 seconds is it's at 2 minutes, so wait 2 minutes. It might even be worth opening that to like 183 minutes. But because during that 3 minutes, if there wasn't a VAR decision, the second goal might go in quickly. You probably tick those two as well. So that means if it's either 1-0 to the home team, 1-0 to the away team, 2-0 to the home team, 2-0 to the away team, I suppose you could even click further down, further across, as long as you were checking the draws. Because you don't want to come out if it's still a draw, obviously. You can do that, but like I say, I think there was a couple of games earlier in the week where I had, or late last week, where I had like it was 6-1 to one team and it still hadn't exited. I mean, I did win my stake because it wasn't a draw, but I don't understand why using this. But then I read this warning down here, which I think I might have covered in a previous video. I can't remember if I've shown you that before. I don't know what to make of that. It's a bit disappointing because I think if you're using this software and it's like between 10 quid and 30 quid a month, depending on how you pay for it, you probably want something that's quite accurate and works. Whereas this is kind of saying that the feed is provided by a third party, and it might be subject to a time delay and or be inaccurate. Well, there's not much point if it's inaccurate when you're paying money to use the software. So I'm going to reserve judgment on that part for the moment and see how it goes. I'm going to try and use, at the minute, I'm just going to try and use these general settings and use this kind of scenario, which I am assuming is more accurate because there's no warning or disclaimer here to say otherwise. Which leads me on to another thing I've seen on the software. If we go to the markets, well, actually, so that concludes 1 to 3. So we'll quickly go to the markets. Just concerned how long I've been chatting. You can see here, again, this is simulation. This minus £20 is because FLTD01 and 2 got on here for £2 each, and we lost £10 on each one because it was a draw and the home team was an absolute bang on banker. I don't know if that means, I think W in brackets always means women. You can see the kind of games we're trading on here. Obviously if we limit it to high profile games, I'd have more idea of what's going on here. But this team, home team, were absolute odds on bankers to win and they didn't. Yeah, well, it says 1.37 there. I'm not sure if that's what it was at the start of the game, but anyway, it was a draw, so we lost £10 on each of those. But you can see where we were winning £2 would have been where we got on one of the strategies. So we only got on with one there, because that would be because this team here was no, that must be a different reason, because that is the home team. So typically I wouldn't get on 0-2 if it was the away team being the favourites, because remember, that was a home team there. Yeah, I'm not sure I wasn't on strategy 1 there. I need to work out, because I think I've got a few discrepancies between 1 and 2. But you can see there where I've won £4, it's because I've been on 1 and 2 and it's not ended in a draw and there's no exit strategies. Where I've got a few where I've got odd pence, yeah, this 153 for example is the back in the lay strategy. So that's where I was saying you would see 2. You'd have your lay bet for the £5, which is the example of football, lay the draw, which is the example that comes with the software, which is a bit embarrassing because it seems to be doing a lot better than mine, which seems to makes it seem as I wasted the last 3 weeks trying to put my strategies together. But it hasn't been wasted, because it's given me a lot better understanding of how everything works. But you can see on this one we put a back bet in at 4.9, which was 1.5 ticks higher than the price we got in at. So when we come out at that price, we lose £3.47 out of our £5, and we end up with a 153 profit, and that's how it works. You're just trading in and out. And you can see this game kicked off at 2000 last night, so that's 8 o'clock. We put the lay bet in at 1955, which was 5 minutes before it started, and then we cashed out at 2029 for a profit, because obviously we'd hit the 25% profit at that point. And there's probably 2 ways that could happen. The first is when a goal does go in, especially if it's later on in the game, it's going to whack straight in that goal, and it's going to take you way over your 25% profit. So don't think it's only ever going to be 25% profit, because if that goal goes in late, I know it didn't in this instance, this is half an hour after the game kicked off, but we still got a nice tidy £1.53, which is a good percentage of a £5 stake back. That's our clear profit. The other way is if it's not a goal going in, it'll gradually build up to 25% as it gets closer and closer towards the end of the game. As long as it's not a draw, then you'll end up cashing out 25% profit. So I've got a few like that. I've got like a 378 one here. So that one cashed out at, that one was placed at 5 to 7, so the kickoff was 7 o'clock. And it only cashed out at 8:30, which is an hour and a half into the game, including half time, 15 minutes, and we only took a loss of 122 on the £5, so we ended up with a 378 profit. And then this is kind of the opposite. Again, that was an hour and a half later though, so I'm assuming here that the first goal went in. Now I don't know, that was probably, I don't know if Montenegro or Greece were the favourites to win in this game, but what's that? It's probably about 25 minutes before, well, about 20 minutes before the end of the game. If it kicked off at 7, it would finish about 10 to 5 to 9, so it's about 20 minutes before the end of full time. And if it's the, I'll have to check, but I think Montenegro might have been the underdogs, in which case they have scored and it'll give you a small profit like that. It might be in Greece. I can't even work out who would have been the favourites in that game, to be honest. But it's pretty low as a result, because the goal went in quite late. But it was because possibly the underdogs, because I think if the favourite had scored, there might have been a bit more profit in it than that. And this one here for 43 pence. That was 9:15 in the morning kick-off this morning. I mean, this thing is brilliant. It just runs while you're like sort of doing other things. And you can see that the bet was placed at 8 minutes past 9, which is about 7 minutes before the game started, and we cashed out 20 minutes later. So if that was only 13 minutes into the game, we cashed out for a small profit. 25% of our £5 stake is what? Trying to work that out. I'm not even sure if that. I'm not even sure. 43 pence. It's obviously cashed out because there was a goal. I mean, it didn't end the draw, so we could have like just let it run at the end. But as we're just trying to make small profits here and trading, I need to check that one as well and see who scored first and who was the favourites to win. It looks like, well, I assume it looks like the away team was the favourite in that game. I think they actually went 2-0 up, and then this home team pulled a goal back. Or maybe went 1-0 each. I don't recall. I don't even know if I looked at that one. But anyway, it cashed out because it met the criteria within. I think it's £5, 25%, 10%, 50 pence. 20%'s a pound, 25% of £5, a pound 25. I'm trying to work this out at the top of my head. I'm not very good with the maths at that point. On the spot again while I'm live. £5 times so it was set 25%. Yeah, that should be 125. I'm not sure why it's coming out at 43 pence profit there. It might be that it's not 25% of the £5. I'm going to look at that in the manual as well, because honestly I haven't looked at the exit strategies yet in the user manual. I need to get my head around all that before I start looking at that. That's why I'm quite happy that I'm just doing the no exit strategy at the minute on the live system. So that's it for today. I just thought I'd give you a catch up on where we're at and using this software. Like I say, it's the license is going to expire tomorrow. You can see I've got on this game here, it's still nils each. One thing I didn't cover before I finish off is that these markets are set to open up half an hour before the kick-off. So you can see how it's highlighted all the way through to 2 o'clock there, because it's currently 25 to 2. And where you've got figures here with like NS and 00, these are the only games that have got live updates from this BF Bot Manager's third party. So even though all these games are listed on Betfair and they've all got live markets on Betfair, you can't actually see what's going on. You can bet on these markets, but you can't see what's going on. And I think I had problems when I was exiting out last week when I first started using them, because these weren't being updated during, like, in play. There's no live stats in play for these games where I blanked out. Don't worry about these ones down here, because these haven't fallen in the half-hour window yet. But anything that's blank down to 1400, that row there, is got no in-play market. So I've had to stop putting trades on those, which is a little option in one of the categories. The market, I think it's the market or the selection criteria, but I'm going into that in more detail. But just means there's not so much to play on. But at the end of the day, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this to a lot more high-profile games going forward. I think it might be a little bit more accurate, plus I'll understand a lot more, because I'm like, these games, like 9 out of 10 of these games, I don't even know who they are. Well, I know who they are because you've got like QB under 23s, you've got like Iran versus Lebanon, but what I don't know is any form or anything like that. I couldn't tell you anything about it. I mean, I wouldn't know who the favourite would be between QB under 23s and Charlton 23s, for example. I mean, I go along here and I can see that Charlton are odds on, but they're 2-0 up anyway at the time. So anyway, I just thought I'd drop that in before I went as well. But I'll see how the strategies go on this simulation. I'll report an update on how I'm doing with the real mode laptop. I'll try and get a screen of that, or at least a screenshot of how we're doing, and I'll report back either tomorrow or the next day on how we're getting on. Thanks for listening. Cheers. Bye.